how to design your identification presets in PractiCAD. You will notice when you go to the workbox and look at the properties for zone, floor, and system number, we have a little down arrow that if clicked, a drop-down menu will appear. This tutorial is here to help you to add or modify that drop-down menu. You will notice that for zone, floor, and system number, the same drop-down menus that appear here will also appear in your AutoCAD property box when you've got a fitting highlighted. We're going to go down to the identification parameters. I'm scrolling through by holding the gray bar and holding the mouse down to scroll up. And looking at the identification parameters, we can see here that we've got floor, zone, and system number. Notice that these have drop-down menus and some other identification properties don't. So we're going to show you how to add to these drop-down menus. You will also notice that you get a little dialog box next to special instruction, and we also have a drop-down menu down to mark as. First, we're going to show you floor, zone, and system number. In order to add or modify these presets, we must go into the library icon on the PractiCAD ribbon. If you're using AutoCAD Express toolbars, the icon will be there. On the left-hand side, we must make sure that next to presets, we have the little plus key opened so that we can see the identification selection. When we click on identification, here we can start to see the different types of identification properties PractiCAD offers. They are system number, zone, floor, special instructions, mark as, and accessories. First, we're going to start with the ones in our workbox: system number, zone, and floor. To add something to our system number properties to that drop-down menu, all we need to do is highlight the green checkbox and click once. Now I can simply say we'd like to add the letter F for system number. And then we're going to add another one with the letter G. If we decide we do not want to add one or take it away, we can hit the red X or the delete key, and then PractiCAD will remove it. If we decide we'd like to change the order of the parameters as we see them in the workbox or the drop-down menu in the AutoCAD property box, we can click on the up arrow to move something up and the down arrow to move something down. So in this tutorial, we're now going to come and we're going to go to zone, and we're going to add a zone by clicking on the green checkbox, and we're going to type in grease duct. And this will be an added zone. And then we're going to switch type and go to floor. And here we're just going to add to the bottom of the list floor 101 and hit enter. Once we've changed the types and added and modified the list, all we need to do is hit the save key and then close out of my library. Now if we go into the workbox and look at zone, you can see that we've got the choice for grease duct. Floor, we've got the choice for floor 101. And system number, we've added system number F. Remember that you can freely type into each one of these fields. However, if you want to add something to the presets, you must go into the library icon. In part 2 of the identification tutorials, we're going to show you how to add special instructions. Scrolling down to the identification parameters, you can see under special instructions, inside the AutoCAD property box, we have what we call a little dialog box. It's got a different preview than the arrows you see here in the floor, zone, and system numbers. In order to add a new list of special instructions, we need to go back into the library on the PractiCAD ribbon and then go to the preset section and choose identification. On the left-hand side, we're going to click on this little plus key to make sure our choices are open. We're going to select identification, and under type, we're going to go to special instructions. We're going to add a special instruction by clicking on the green checkbox, and we're going to call this special instruction access door. Then we're going to add a second special instruction, and we're just going to call it use glue. Once we've given the entire list of special instructions into the library, all we need to do is click the save key and then close. Now if we click on the ductwork and go to the identification properties, we will see if we click on the little dialog box, we're going to click now, that we have the choice to select both access door and use glue. That is the main difference between the dialog box and the drop-down menu. Drop-down menus, you could only choose one choice. Dialog boxes, you could choose a multitude of choices. The main reason for special instructions, as well as floor, zone, and system number, is the identification properties can appear on the labels when you download to PractiCam. You can see here we have ductwork piece number 0. If we go over to PractiCam, we can see here that we've got the rectangular duct downloaded with piece number 0 inside PractiCam. And by double clicking on our fitting and going into the properties inside the takeoff field, we can see that the use glue and access door fields have been downloaded in the special instructions property. This can now be placed on a label or any PractiCam report. Also, special instructions, just like any other identification parameter, can be placed in PractiCAD reports. Part 3 of the identification tutorials is going to show you how to use Mark As. Mark As is a property that is shared between PractiCam and PractiCAD. It is usually used for the label templates inside PractiCam. For example, imagine we wanted to have two types of labels. One group called green label for jobs that were going out standard, and one group called red label for jobs that were rush ordered. And we wanted these labels to look different. Well, there are tutorials that show you how to design different mark groups and different label types inside PractiCam. In this tutorial, we're going to show you how to match PractiCAD to those groups and then be able to download ductwork and have the duct go to the proper mark group. For example, first we're going to go into PractiCam. Inside PractiCam, underneath My Libraries, Preferences, on the right-hand side, we get Mark Groups. And here we've created two mark groups, red label and green label. And there are label templates that have been modified to adjust them so that the red label gets a red border and green label gets a green border. Now we must make sure that when we create these groups inside PractiCAD that we match it exactly to the name we've got here. And it is case sensitive. So if we call it red label and green label here with capital letters, we must do the same thing inside PractiCAD. To design them in PractiCAD, we must first go into the library icon. So we're going to click on the library icon on the PractiCAD ribbon. If you're using AutoCAD, it'll be in the Express toolbars. And then we're going to go over to the presets section. On the left-hand side, we can see that we've got presets. And if we come down here and open up the presets and go to identification, we're now going to go to the mark or identification type, Mark As. Notice that this choice is blank. We're going to add two different types, red label in capital letters and green label in capital letters. Once we've designed them, we're going to hit the Save key and then exit out of My Library. Now we're going to click on piece number 1, go down to the identification properties, and we're going to add the red label Mark As. Then we're going to go over to piece number 2, fitting 2, and we're going to add Mark As there as green label. We're going to choose our drop-down menu, select green label. Now one thing to point out is you do not need to use the AutoCAD property box in order to give the identification parameters. Just like zone, floor, and system number can be selected out of your workbox, if you go to grab a fitting from your fitting bin, in the parameter box, we have added the fields for special instruction and Mark As. So we can actually adjust it right here before we even place it on the drawing. That would be the preferred way to do it because it's quicker. Once we've got the two ducts chosen with the right Mark As, we're going to go back into PractiCam and take a look at what they look like there. Here inside PractiCam, we can see we've got duct 1 and 2. If we clicked on duct 1, piece number 1, and go to the Mark As property, we can see that Mark As is set for red label. And if we exit out and go to rec duct piece number 2 and look at the Mark As property, we can see that it's set for green label. And if you look at the label templates, once they're designed correctly, and there's separate tutorials on that, you can see here that we've got Rec Duct 1 with the red label and Rec Duct 2 from the green label. And you can control this directly from PractiCAD. That is how to use the mark as identification property. Part 4 of the identification section is working with the property accessories. Accessories is a property that is unique to grills in the software. It is not associated with duct. You'll notice when you click on grills and you come to identification, we have a little box here for accessories with a little dialog box. Currently, those choices only have two in it, one way and two way. To add or modify the list of accessories, we're going to go into the library icon on the PractiCAD ribbon. Then on the left-hand side, we're going to go over to presets. Make sure we click the little plus key to open up our choices. We're going to click on identification. We're going to go over to the identification type and select accessories. Here you can see the two that have been created. We're going to add one more to the list, which is going to be a three-way. And then we're going to hit the save key and close out of my library. Now we can go over to the grill and either add the choice here by clicking on the dialog box in the ACAD property box and selecting the ones we want, or we can always add it to a new grill. Here we're going to go into an architectural bin, select the supply grill. We're going to go over to the fitting parameter box, and underneath accessories we can come and select the one we want. Here we must select the one we want, and I'm going to hit the enter key. You want to make sure you confirm that PractiCAD added it and then dropped to the next selection set. Be careful to make sure you hit the enter key here. Then we're going to place it on the drawing, and of course if we click on this grill and go to the property box, we can see that a three-way accessory has been added. That'll conclude all the tutorials on the identification section and building your identification properties.